Hi, it's Melissa with Halo Creative Designs, and I'm going to teach you how to lay a mesh base on a 14-inch wire frame. You only need a few tools, a good pair of cutters, pair of scissors, 18 chenille stems or pipe cleaners, 2 or 3 zip ties, your wire frame of course, and a roll of mesh. For this project, I've chosen a roll of 21-inch fabric mesh. I like working with fabric mesh because it frays a lot less than poly Deco mesh, as well as it's got a very nice texture to it. It's got a really nice feel. I don't know if you can see, it's got strands of fabric that run through it. Super awesome. Comes in various sizes and colors as well. I do have one here that's the red and black buffalo print. And I'll hold it up as well so you can see the strands running through it as well. Another thing I like about fabric mesh is it's waterproof. So since I am making a wreath to hang on your front door, one of the main reasons I like working with fabric is because it is waterproof for that reason. You hang it on your front door. So to start, you're just going to move things out of your way and set your work frame in front of you. Grab a pipe cleaner or chenille stem, fold it in half like this, U-shaped. You're going to attach it to these first 2 rings, these outer rings, okay? So I run it under the bottom like that. Can you see? And then I'm going to pull my stems opposite each other. So here they are, like this. I just pull them opposite each other and really pull tight because you want them to be so tight on the wire that they don't move. So I'm pulling opposite each other and I start my twist that way, like that. And now my stem's not gonna move, okay? So I'll show you how I have that. Just like that. That's how it looks on the back. So we've attached our first chenille stem. Now, for the next one, you're going to come to the bottom 2. Okay, same thing. You're going to pull your ends opposite each other really tight and start your twist. Okay, so you've got one on the outside, one on the inside. You're going to take your next chenille stem. You're going to go back to the outside 2 bars, just like that. Pull your pipe cleaners opposite each other and start your twist. Oops, I didn't get it very tight. Let's do that again. Pull them opposite and start your twist. There you go. Now I'm tight. Okay, so for this first section, we did 2 on the top, 1 on the bottom. So now we're gonna, oh, that's a little off center there, isn't it? Okay, so now we're gonna alternate. The next section, we're gonna do 2 on the bottom and 1 on the top. So grab a chenille stem, fold it in half, come to the little next section, put it about that far. I mean, you can just, I kind of eyeball it. I don't measure it. I just kind of evenly space them the best I can within that section. So you're on your first 2 bars, or your 2 inner bars, pull them opposite and start the twist. Okay. Next, fold it in half, come to your outer 2 bars, come under, pull your stems, here, come over a little, pull your stems opposite and start the twist. Okay. The next one, you're going to come back to your inner 2 bars. So just like this one, we put 3 in each section, but you're going to alternate where you place them. So since we're going there, I'm going to put it under, pull my stems apart, and twist. Just like that. Okay, as you see, we now have 6 attached. 2 on the top, 1 on the bottom. 1 on the top, 2 on the bottom. And you're going to alternate that pattern all the way around your frame until you've attached 18 chenille stems. This is what it will look like when you have attached them all. So as you can see, I have 2 on the inner, 1 on the outer, 2 on the outer, 1 on the inner, all the way around. Okay, so that's how you make your what they call a work wreath. This is the same thing as this, but it saves you anywhere from $5 to $6 to make your own. All right, now I'm going to show you how to put the mesh on your base. I'm going to pull up my cutting mat because it has measurements on it here, and I do measure my poofs. So I kind of lay it out here and I take my roll of mesh and I drop it on the floor between my legs. I know you can't see that, but it's there. And it just makes it easier to work with that way. Less in my way. All right, so you're gonna take your end of mesh right here. And I take the 2 ends and fold them in just like that. Here, let me move my cutting mat so you can see a little better. So you have your mesh flat, just fold your edges in just a little, just like that, okay? And all that does is help the mesh start its natural curve around your edges, because when you're forming your poofs around your base, you want your edges to stay curled under and not flip up. So this helps the natural curve of the mesh get started. So once you have your edges folded in, you're just gonna do this and scrunch it all up like that, okay? Whoops, that one came undone. There we go, okay, like this, okay? Whoops, my mesh kind of got twisted under my feet. All right. So you've got your edge like this, okay? You've folded your edges under, so you've got this nice curl already. Can you guys see that? All right. So you can start on the inner or the outer. It does not matter. Some people prefer starting inside. I like to start on the outside. So I'm just gonna choose one. It doesn't matter which one. I'm going to choose this one. You're gonna take the edge that you bunched up in your hand and just lay it down. And you want the face up side of your mesh, or you want your mesh to be face up and your edges down. So the same way that we attached our chenille stems, I'm gonna do the same thing to attach the mesh. I'm going to pull my stems opposite each other. And by doing that, it allows you to exert enough pressure that it smushes the mesh all the way down to the wire on the frame and doesn't take up, or it's not loose, so it's going to be really snug basically. Okay, so you're pulling your stems opposite and then you're going to twist. And I give it a couple of good twists. We're going to add some ribbons to this later, so you want you want some chenille stem left to be able to put your ribbon in. Okay, here's where my cutting mat comes in. I put it right here so I can see the markings on it. And I put my chenille stem on my beginning mark, making sure that I keep my edges folded under. I kind of run my hands down. And for this, I'm going to do 8-inch poofs. Typically, I do 10 when I'm doing a whimsical deco mesh or poly deco mesh, metallic deco mesh wreath. But this one is a fabric deco mesh, and I am using 21 inch instead of 10 inch. So a 10 inch poof with 21 inch mesh is going to make it really poofy and deep. And I didn't want that for this particular wreath. I wanted a smaller poof. So I'm going to do 8 inch poofs for this one. So I measure out to the 8 inch mark on my mat. I kind of push forward with my poof a little bit and come to the next chenille stem, open it, and lay it in where I marked the 8 inches with my fingers. And then pull your chenille stem opposite each other and twist. Just like that. I poof as I go because if I don't like the way that my poof looks, I want to be able to go back and do it right then and not wait until I have reached the end and then realize I've got a wonky looking poof and I have to, you know, undo the whole base. So I will poof as I go. So again, making sure you keep your edges folded under. Put your chenille stem on your start mark. Run your fingers down to the 8 inch mark. Kind of push forward your poof a little. Open your chenille stem. My base is moving around. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay. Pull your chenille stems opposite each other and twist. And then poof. So see how nice that's looking so far? You can see, I'll give you a close-up look. All right, wonderful. Gonna do one more. Put your chenille stem on your start mark. Measure out to 8. Push your poof forward. Open your stem. Lay your mesh in. Pull your stems opposite each other and twist. Then fluff your poof. Just like that. Just like that. See? Okay. I honestly think that one might be a little too poofy, so you just back it out, measure it back out, and go again. And see, that was so much easier than having to break down a whole base because you missed one poof. And I wouldn't have known that till I started fluffing it. Okay, so there. That's how we do poofs. Now, I'm going to finish the outside ring and then I will come back and show you how to transition to your inner ring. I'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, I'm back. So I have gone all the way around the base and I'm getting ready to be back where I started. Here's where we started. You've got your little cut end here. I'm gonna tuck it to the back. I forgot to show you guys this earlier, so we're gonna do this. So I've tucked it to the back and I'm gonna take a zip tie, go around it, and secure it. I know we've secured it with a chenille stem, but I like that little extra assurance that it's not gonna go anywhere. So I just tighten it down like that on top of that tail there where we started. And you'll take your wire cutters, and just chop it off. And I take the little pointy end because, you know, when you cut it, you've got that little pointy end that stays there. And I just kind of turn it to the inside. You don't want that scratchy edge to poke through and maybe scratch up your wall or your door. So I just poke it to the inside. All right. So So we're back to where we started from here. We're going to do the same thing we did all the way around. Make sure our edges are curled under. Put your chenille stem on your start mark. Measure down to 8 because we're doing 8-inch poofs. You're going to take the chenille stem that we started with and open it up and lay this poof on top of the other and tighten your chenille stem back down. Okay? Sometimes I don't open them back up, or open the chenille stems back up to lay the layers in, because I'm gonna have enough room. This one I want to make sure that I have enough room for all the embellishments that we're gonna put on. So I want as much chenille stem left. So I'm gonna undo each one as I layer in. Okay, so we've done one complete ring. You're going to take your mesh, keeping your edges folded under, and I'm going to kind of move this poof out of the way, if you can see. Now, I'm going to take this next chenille stem, the one catty cornered here, kind of diagonal, and I'm just going to pull my mesh tight, open the chenille stem, and lay it in tight. Okay, and tie it down as tight as you can, just like that. Okay, so all you did was pull a straight line really tight across right here to your inner bar. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing for the inner bar that we did for, I'm going to move all these out of the way, that we did for the outer bar. Okay, you're going to put your chenille stem on your start mark. Measure down to 8, and then lay your poof in, and give it your chenille stem a couple of good twists. And you want to fluff your poof, and if you don't like the way it looks, you can undo it and redo it. Okay, I'm okay with that one, I think. Yeah, I'm okay with that one. So we just keep going, doing the same thing. Put your chenille stem on your start mark, measure down to 8, keeping your edges tucked under. You don't want them to flip up. Lay your chenille, or open your chenille stem, lay in your poof, and tighten it down, just like that. Then fluff your poof. I just love working with this fabric mesh. Texture is really nice. All right, I'm going to do one more for you guys. Edges tucked under. And if you see it starting, you know, to kind of fold over in the middle from your next poof, just go and kind of take your fingers and, you know, pull it out like that. You know, just kind of reform it. It's very forgiving, and it does mainly what you want it to. Okay, so chenille stem on your start mark, go down to 8, and lay in your poof. Okay, and fluff. Fluff, fluff, fluff. As a wreath maker, you spend lots of time fluffing. You fluff ribbon when you put it on, you fluff it again after you add embellishments, you fluff it again. I mean, it's never ending, but it is worth every penny of effort you put into it. All right, so I formed that one the way I like it. All right, I'm going to do the rest, and when I come back, I will show you how we finished the base. All right, guys, I'm back, and I have done the complete inner circle all the way back to where we started the inner, where we brought the outer bar straight across to the inner bar and started our poofs going on the inner. So I'm going to do like I did on the outer ring. I'm going to take this poof and connect it with this one. I'll open the chenille stem, add that poof in, and then tighten it back down. So put your chenille stem on your start mark. Oops, make sure my ends are under. chenille stem on the start mark, measure down to 8. Okay, I'm going to open the chenille stem. I'm going to lay my new poof in on top and tighten it back down. Now, pull the ends of your chenille stem opposite each other really hard. That smushes your mesh down to the wire frame really tight. Okay, then you fluff your poof. Whoops. Okay, so a lot of people might stop here. You have your complete outer and inner circles done, and this to some people would be a complete base, but I like mine a little more full. And the way I do it, it also means that you could use less embellishments if you wanted to, because you can see through the base less. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to zigzag back and forth between the outer and the inner and cover in these areas that typically you can see through when you do just the standard base. So you end right here on your inner bar, or if you were working from the inner to outer, you'd end on your outer bar, wherever you stopped. So in this case, we stopped on the inner. We're going to come diagonally out to this chenille stem out here. So we're on this chenille stem here, okay? And the next poof we make, we're going to poof it down to this one. So we go inner to outer, okay? Same thing. You can see through, so put your chenille stem on your start mark, measure down to 8, inner to outer. So you're going to come to that outer chenille stem and tie it down. Whoops, I forgot to open the chenille stem. You know what, for this one I think I can get away with just leaving it in. So tighten it down and then fluff your poof. Just like that. So see how full it made that area right there? Okay, so we did inner to outer. Now we're going to go outer to inner. Same thing. Curl your edges under. Put your chenille stem on your start mark. Measure down to 8. And then just swing it to the inner chenille stem. And tighten it down. Okay, and then fluff your poof. Not like how that one's laying right there. Okay, there we go. And I mean, if you don't, that's the wonderful thing about mesh. If you don't like the way that it's laying your poof, just play with it. You know, you've got 21 inches worth of width of a poof there that you can move around and fluff around to get it to look like you want. Okay, so we have finished on the inner. Now we're going to come diagonal back to the outer. Put on your start mark. Whoops, my edges come undone there. Okay, start mark, measure down to 8. Come to your outer chenille stem and lay your mesh in, just like that. Tie it down, just like that. Then fluff your poof. Lovely. And now it's getting kind of poofy. I make sure that I'm pulling my chenille stems out so I can see them because they'll get buried everywhere. All right, so we're on the outer. We're going to diagonal into the inner. Start mark, down to 8. Bring your mesh in. Oops. Lay it into your chenille stem and tie it down. Oh, I think I pulled that one too tight. Sorry, guys. There we go. Okay. go. Okay. I think you guys have the back and forth, so I'm going to go around and finish the base. And when I come back, we'll see the finished product. I'll be right back, guys. All right, guys. I have made it all the way back around to the last two poofs. So I'm on the inner bar. I'm going to come out to the outer bar, lay my mesh in, tighten it down, and then fluff my, whoops, I got that one a little tight. And see, that's what I love about this. If it's not what you like, if it's, you know, not right, just back it out and reform the poof. Easy as that. Okay. Lay it in your outer poof, or in your outer stem, and tighten it down, just like that. And then fluff. Got one hiding down here. All right. So we're on the outer stem or on the outer ring right now, and this will be our last one on the inner. And this is where we brought, you know, the piece straight across when we transitioned from the outer to the inner. So we're just going to complete the circle. We're going outer to inner, and this will be our last poof. So measure out your 8. Come in. Now for this one, I'm going to open the stem again because this mesh is fairly thick and I'm running out of stem. So just opening the stem, laying that poof in, pulling my ends opposite each other really tight to squish the mesh down to the base, and then twist and fluff your poof. All right, now at this point, I take and pull up just a little, about that much. Can you see about that much of a tail? Come on. Oh, there we go. This stuff is so hard to cut. My scissors are dull. This is almost embarrassing, guys. I think I need some new scissors. Thank goodness this is the end. I think a butter knife might be sharper. This stuff, it's heavy duty. Okay, so I'm just gonna let that drop under my feet. So you've got this ugly little tail here. We're gonna do just like we did on the first one. Find a hole and tuck it down to the back. So as you can see, I just fed it through to the back right here. I'm going to take my other zip tie, make sure I come around the bar and catch that tail. Just extra security that your poofs aren't going to come undone. And tighten it down. And then cut off your edge. And I turn it to the center. All right, so we have officially done a poof with a zigzag base. So this is what your back will look like. Now I do finish these. I will show you how I finish them. This isn't a good color for this, but I buy round placemats, and as you can see, it fits right over the top very nicely. And I'll take zip ties, come here, take zip ties and do about 6 to 8 around them and just attach this to the back. And that covers up all the nasty mechanics of what we did on the back. Now that's only if I'm going to have the center covered. And the sign I'm going to use for this one, I don't know if it's going to cover it all the way, so I may or may not then fix the back of this one. Time will tell. All right, guys. Well, this is the finished product of a poof with a zigzag technique on a 14-inch wire frame. This is 21-inch fabric mesh. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions about this tutorial, please leave comments down below, and I will answer them as I can. We do have a website up and running now. It's under construction, bare bones. As I get things accomplished and complete, I will add them to it. But it's www.halocreativedesigns, Haylo is Halo, after my sons Hayden and Logan. So www.halocreativedesigns.com. If you like this, give me some thumbs up, and look out for my next one, you guys. Have a good night.